Hey there, welcome to day 8 of the 30-day authenticity challenge. My name is Damio Shodi, and I love creating programs, resources, and content that helps transform the minds of people and ultimately helping you transform your mind to live in luxury every single day of your life. So, this 30-day challenge is to help promote my podcast that we'll be releasing, Luxury State of Mind, where again I teach you how to live in luxury every day through 3 pillars. And every concept is centered around these 3 pillars: identity, intentionality, and freedom of choice. So we are back at it again with another day of the challenge. And so far, it's been going good. I've been going strong, and I've been enjoying the feedback that I've been getting and just the opportunity to just share some thoughts with you. Again, this live is more of an introduction into the content I'll be sharing on the podcast. It's not everything, but just kind of want to give you a taste of the different types of topics and introduce to you, the type of content that will be there and what you can expect there. So on today's topic, as you saw from the title, we're talking about how to develop the best self-care routine ever. In doing a lot of calls with women about luxury, the word self-care came up a lot about how to create a better self-care routine and all these different things, right? So we may discuss, or I'm going to discuss self-care in a different way than what you may be used to. I mean, if you're looking on YouTube, if you put in self-care, what you're going to see, right? You're going to see bubble baths. We're going to see getting our nails done. We're going to see getting our hair done. We're going to see, for some, cleaning our apartments or our homes on a Sunday and all these different things, which are wonderful things. I'm literally for every single one of them, right? Anything that allows you to feel your best and to just look your best or whatever that could mean for you, I'm here for it. But I want to ask you 3 questions when it comes to self-care. And none of them actually have to do with materialistic things. So literally a lot of things that I'm going to be speaking about, you don't have to live, and I keep repeating this in almost every live, you don't have to be making a certain amount of money. You don't have to be in a certain career path or live in a certain place to live in luxury. Like, you can start living in luxury today. So the first question when it comes to creating a self-care routine is, how do you talk to yourself? I know that what we've been told and what we are seeing is there are things that you need to do. You need to be able to cram in a lot of these beautification experiences in a certain amount of time for 1 week, and that's your self-care. But let's think about it like this: how do you talk to yourself and treat yourself every single day? Are you saying things that actually encourage you and affirm your identity, affirm your calling and your purpose and just who you are as a person? Or are you tearing yourself down every day? Because you can do all the beauty routines, all the things that, we're seeing that, okay, this is how to do self-care. But if you literally are calling yourself names, calling yourself stupid, calling yourself all types of things in your own mind, or allowing those intrusive thoughts to be in your own mind, then there's no way that you can actually care for yourself. If your inward is basically deteriorating, but you look beautiful on the outside, I don't think that's self-care. And that's no shame to anyone, because like it's hard. It's so easy to get trapped into saying negative things about yourself, picking yourself apart, just treating yourself very poorly, and allowing yourself over time to treat yourself in that way, maybe through how somebody else has treated you or what you've experienced growing up in a traumatic experience, shame, perfectionism. I mean, I've been there, especially with the perfectionism and just mistakes that you've made, and you tear yourself apart from the inside. So I ask you, how do you speak to yourself? Can you be honest and say, do I speak to myself in a right way, or do I speak down to myself? I never like when I hear somebody say, oh, I'm so stupid. Like, it actually irritates me, because I tell them very quickly, if you know me in person, and if I hear you say that, I always say, no, you're not. You just made a mistake. But sometimes we make a mistake, or something happens, and again, I've been here. It's like it starts going downhill. Like it's one little thing that you did, and then by the time you know it, like your whole personality, identity has been destroyed. You're a terrible person, and why are you even living? And if we're honest, sometimes it really does get there. So paying attention to, how do you talk to yourself? What thoughts do you allow in your mind? And maybe one day on the podcast, I'm going to talk about how to work, like overcome limiting beliefs and limiting thoughts. I had a conversation with somebody about this and asked them, what happens when they have certain thoughts? And they had no strategy on how to defend themselves against these things. So maybe that's something that I would talk about on the podcast. And you can leave a comment below if you're struggling with that, if you're struggling with thoughts that tear yourself apart or limiting beliefs. Make that share that comment on the underneath this video, and maybe that'll be something that I'll talk about. So that's the first thing. How do you talk to yourself? Second thing, how do you treat yourself? It's all in the same family. How do you actually treat yourself? Are you constantly overworking yourself trying to prove your worth to other people? I've been there. And I'm a recovering overworker, perfectionist. I have been there and continue to work through these things. But I realize that, man, if I'm working so hard just to, you know, the fear of, oh, they're going to find me out that I'm not that good, right? Or I have to prove that I belong here. So let me overwork myself and just go above and beyond to try to prove myself. But in reality, are you treating yourself well? Another thing, are you constantly putting others in front of you? Constantly, never having time for yourself, never doing anything for yourself, never just being yourself and being with yourself? Are you constantly trying to help and do all these things with other people, but you're not taking care of your physical, mental, and spiritual being? And here's a big one. I feel like this is my favorite point about this, how you treat yourself. Are you not being real about what you need? I mean, there are things that we just need, like individually. I'm starting to see now, as people grow up and develop, they are very peculiar about certain things or particular about certain things. And it's just like, oh, that's interesting, but it's unique to them. They know what they need. But there are times, and a lot of us, especially women, can deny ourselves of what we need. For example, if you're the type of person that can't necessarily be around a lot of people for an extended amount of time, but now here comes friends who say they want to stay at your place for 2 weeks, but you know that after 3 days you just can't handle it, like, or 4 or 5 days, like you reached your max, and then you're irritated and frustrated with them and it gets uncomfortable. Be honest with yourself. Be honest and allow yourself to know, like, maybe, this is something, like, every time I get into the situation, I get really bothered, I get very flustered, I get frustrated. And just because everybody else around me says it's okay, or they're like, well, why are you like that? You're just too much, or you're just too this, like all those little put downs, and it puts you in a box. Allow yourself the opportunity to think freely and be like, what do I need? What am I good with? What am I not good with? And being able to communicate that with other people. So, what do you need? Are you honest with yourself about it? Are you honest with who you are as a person without tearing yourself down? Just basically destroying the way that you are. Number three, in how to create a self-care routine, or not how to create a self-care routine, but how to develop like a self-care routine that's a game changer. How do you allow others to treat you? And a particular point with this, how do you advocate for yourself? This was huge for me. I used to be somebody who was so afraid of talking to a waiter at a restaurant and asking them to bring extra ketchup, or speaking up when something was wrong with my order, letting them know that, hey, can you change this? I ordered this. I used to be so afraid because you'd be like, oh my goodness, I don't want to bother them. I don't want to stress them out. Sometimes I would find myself being mistreated by people who were in roles that were supposed to serve me, that I was paying my money to get a service done. But then I realized that it's actually very dangerous to do that because it teaches yourself that you are not deserving of good things. It teaches yourself that you are not allowed to advocate for yourself. It teaches you a lot of bad lessons, and then you wonder why, maybe in bad relationships, either romantic or friendships, or you have certain relationships where it seems that people are so quick to put you down, or just so many things, right? A lot of our actions are teaching us something. They're teaching us how we navigate in the world, what we allow, what we don't allow. And I tell you that learning to advocate for myself has been one of the most powerful lessons that I've personally learned. And being able to just ask questions. And if somebody first says no, being able to ask again or ask somebody else, and not to always take no for an answer the first time. It's been a very freeing experience, and it's taught me to respect myself. So now when I walk into a room, I'm like, I don't allow people to just treat me anyhow. And it's not even that. People don't. I think once you kind of know yourself and you're grounded in your identity, and you continue to get grounded because this is an ongoing process, it gives off a certain energy where people have to respect you. They have to know that, okay, somebody important is here. Even if you're not the boss or whatever, but you give off a certain energy. And I think a lot of things changed for me when I learned to advocate for myself. So I know this is not the typical self care message, but ultimately, if we are not fine inwardly, there's no amount of getting our nails done, hair done, our makeup done, going to the spa that can save that. Because once you leave those places, they may give you a quick fix for that second, but then after you leave the place, you're still going to feel empty, and you're still going to feel like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on? So when you think of self-care, take it in a little bit deeper. Take it past a surface level of understanding and look at self-care from a place of, how do I see myself? And then from there, you then create routines that are natural to you. If we're thinking of practical things for self-care, it could mean you notice that you like being in nature, so you take more walks. Maybe your things aren't baths. You like to take walks, or you like to go to a new restaurant, or you like to do different things. Of course, like, self-care can be those physical things, but I think they come from a place of being secure in yourself, being able to treat yourself well, talk to yourself well, and allow others to treat you well. And again, this is an ongoing process, but I wanted to just kind of put that in your mind on possibly a new way of looking at self-care. You've been looking on YouTube, trying to build a routine. Finally, I'll get my self-care routine. 2024, I'm going to focus on building a self-care routine, but you still doing all these things and it's just not working. So sometimes we have to look past what we see physically and look inwardly on what's going on. So I hope this was helpful for you. Again, this is day 8 of the 30-day authenticity challenge. I'm really happy that we are going strong and that I have the opportunity to speak with you every day for the next 30 days, sharing the different concepts of luxury state of mind. And again, you can have luxury literally at any stage, no matter where you are, no matter your tax bracket, you can live in luxury today. All right. So I will speak to you tomorrow for day 9. Bye.